Picture two veterans who both stop working. One brings a folder with job descriptions, supervisor notes showing reduced hours, medical records documenting fatigue and limited lifting, and a short written statement describing how their day changed. The other submits a single line that says, "I can't work." The difference is everything. Welcome to the Veteran Benefits Reset Podcast. I'm Cameron Burrell, a U.S. Army veteran and founder of VetBiz Media. Here's the straight answer up front. TDIU lets the VA pay a veteran at the 100% rate when service-connected disabilities prevent substantially gainful employment. You don't need a 100% scheduler rating to apply. What matters is whether your service-connected conditions keep you from working at or above the poverty threshold for sustained employment. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what evidence moves a TDIU claim from vague to convincing. So, what is the VA actually looking for? 3 linked things: a record of work history and attempts to work, medical evidence showing functional limitations tied to service-connected conditions, and a credible connection, a nexus, between those conditions and the inability to perform job tasks. Think of it as connecting dots: dates, job duties, symptoms, and outcomes. Timelines beat diagnoses alone. Now, let's talk about building a single file that tells that story. I call it the TDIU evidence map. Keep everything in one folder or one digital file. Make 4 clear columns or sections: work history and job tasks, medical records tied to function, lay statements and third-party observations, and administrative or payroll documents. That structure makes it easy for a reviewer to follow the narrative without guessing. Work history. List every job in the last 10 years with dates and the main duties. If a job title doesn't explain tasks, add a 1-sentence description. Personnel records you want include pay stubs, HR emails about reduced hours, performance notes, requests for accommodation, and termination or suspension letters. Those documents show real workplace impact. Medical evidence. Pull treatment notes that say how you function. Look for lines like, "can sit for 30 minutes before pain increases," or "fatigues after 2 hours of activity." Those are useful. Physical therapy notes, functional capacity evaluations, and provider statements that describe limitations matter more than a list of diagnoses. If your provider hasn't written functional limits, ask for a short, work-focused statement. It doesn't have to be long, but it should be specific. Lay statements often fill gaps medicine doesn't capture. Supervisors can note reduced hours or reassign tasks. Coworkers can describe missed deadlines or extra oversight. Family members can record how a flare-up changes daily routines. Short, specific letters with dates and examples beat a generic, "I couldn't do my job." Specifics matter here. Translate function into claim-ready language. Instead of, "I have pain," say, "I can stand for 10 to 15 minutes before needing to sit for 20 to 30 minutes. Replace "I can't concentrate" with, "I lose focus after 30 to 45 minutes and need written reminders to complete routine tasks." Quantify hours, weights, distances, frequency of flare-ups, and recovery time. Then link each limitation to a specific job duty: lifting boxes, driving routes, or preparing lesson plans. Let me give 3 short examples from files I've reviewed so you can hear how pieces fit together. First, an office worker. The winning folder had HR notes showing reduced hours, sick leave records that matched clinic visits for fatigue, and a coworker statement about deadlines that needed reassignment. Those documents lined up on a timeline and showed progressive impact. Second, a heavy laborer. The file included a functional capacity evaluation that limited lifting to 10 pounds, a company light-duty request and refusal letter, workers' comp entries, and even photos showing tool modifications. That combination connected the medical limits to the actual physical tasks of the job. Third, a teacher with cognitive and voice issues. The record had medical notes documenting concentration problems, an ENT evaluation for voice strain, parent emails about classes being covered, and HR records reducing the teaching load. These documents created a clear narrative that classroom demands couldn't be met consistently. I've seen files like each of those. Pay attention to how different document types reinforce one story. When medical notes, employer records, and lay statements all point to the same limitations at the same times, reviewers don't have to guess. Now, a quick warning. Common mistakes that weaken TDIU claims are easy to avoid. Vague statements without dates or examples. Missing timelines that leave gaps between treatment and work events. No nexus, medical records that never link symptoms to job tasks, and relying only on a single unspecific statement from the veteran. Don't assume the VA knows your job. If the title is vague, describe the tasks. I know this can feel overwhelming, so start small. 1 hour of work organizing documents will get you farther than a week of worrying. Begin with the easiest items and build the timeline as you go. Here's a one-page checklist you can complete today. Do each item as its own short step. 1. List every job in the last 10 years with dates and main tasks. 2. Pull personnel records, pay stubs, HR emails, termination or reduced hours letters. 3. Request or download medical notes that describe function. Highlight lines that mention limits. 4. Ask one supervisor and one coworker for short written statements with dates and examples. 5. Add any vocational testing, FCEs, or workers' comp records. 6. Create a simple timeline aligning work events with clinic visits, then put everything in one labeled folder or digital file. If your case has multiple employers, gaps in care, or complicated job duties, consider a vocational evaluation or get help from an accredited VSO or attorney. I can't give individualized legal advice here, but I can say this. Organized, specific, and linked evidence helps reviewers make consistent decisions. Treat your file like a narrative with timestamps and footprints. Quick recap. Show the VA that service-connected disabilities prevent substantially gainful employment by building a single evidence map. Tie work history to medical function and lay observations. Use concrete, quantifiable language, hours, pounds, frequency, and always link limitations to specific job duties. Avoid vagueness, missing timelines, and absent nexus. Spend an hour today on the checklist and you'll have momentum. Thank you for listening to the Veteran Benefits Reset podcast. If you found today's episode helpful, follow the podcast, leave a review, and share it with another veteran who could benefit. Download your free 7-step Veteran Benefits Reset Guide at vetbizmedia.com/veteran7. And remember, your service did not expire. Your story is still worth reviewing. Take the next responsible step.